Hello and welcome to IABM TV. Today I'm delighted to welcome back into the studio David Ross, CEO of Ross Video. David, welcome back to IABM TV.
It's good to be back.
So David, it's been a very busy year for Ross Video. I've been seeing on LinkedIn you've been very active talking about results and the state of the industry. What's been the highlights for you since IBC 2017?
Oh, well, we've been doing so much. We had a huge keynote with about 1,000 people showing up at NAB, launching all the products then. And a highlight of that actually was our One More Thing moment when we talked about a new IP blade with 425 gig ports going into our Ultrix routing platform and launching our FR5 144 squared UHD router. So a lot of cool stuff going on there, and you'd think we'd have nothing left coming into IBC, and we made 21 new product announcements at the show and major enhancements and things like that. One of the big ones was we have a new mid-size production switcher, and so it's fun to see that the competition has already been by, looking at it, taking pictures. Very exciting. Right. It's amazing. It's one rack unit, but it's 3 MEs with 4 mini-MEs. It used to be a whole rack of equipment to be able to do things like that, and it's also UHD capable, 24 inputs. So there's a lot of interest in things like that as well. So that's the product side of things. But I'm also excited about the growth of the company, obviously. And that's one of the things I've been talking about on LinkedIn. I had it was neat that at the start of the show, the very first day, we actually crossed over last year's sales.
Oh, right.
And so it's cool because there's 7 weeks left in our financial year. And that's a lot of runway to set a new record. And seeing as we've had 27 years of record years,
right?
It's pretty cool. It's been adding up, so it's nice to become a bigger company every single year. In fact, every morning when we get together with the team, I get to announce that since yesterday we've set a new all-time record for sales at Ross. They're starting to notice a pattern. Guess what I'm going to announce tomorrow morning before the show? That we set a new all-time record for sales.
Must be great to motivate the team as well, though.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot of fun. It's nice when things are going so well.
And so what's the biggest piece of news from Ross for IBC 2018?
Oh man, there's so much. I think certainly the fact that things are going well, but also I think just the new product announcements. When you take a look at our booth, just how all of our products interoperate together with each other, and how we're doing a lot of work both in SDI and in IP simultaneously.
Okay, so you changed your company tagline at NAB from live production experts to living live. What prompted that change?
Well, it's interesting. One of the reasons we did live production experts is we saw a Devoncroft report a few years ago that said people didn't think we were particularly expert, and I went, what? Right. How can we not be? We've been doing this for so long. I think we're pretty good at it. So that's why we made the tagline like that. And since then, since we did that, probably the company's more than tripled in size. Yeah. So we decided now that people think we are experts and know we are experts, it's time to move on and really talk more about the personality of the company and what we do. And our space is live production. And so we really want to show not just that we do live production, but just the way we feel about it. And living live is the way that we sort of go on site. We don't just make product. We go on site. We work with the customers. We have a lot of experts that help our customers be successful. And it's turned out to be a better tagline than the prototype that we had, where it was going to be live live.
Okay.
And until we wrote it down, we looked at it and went, that reads either live live, or live live.
Right.
And so we sort of looked at it and went, maybe we should modify that a little bit so you can read it. And living live is what came out of it, and everybody liked it right away. Yeah,
excellent. So another industry trend that many seem to be focusing on is virtualization and cloud-based solutions.
Yep.
Does that mean that the future looks bleak for hardware manufacturers like Ross?
It looks really bleak, I think, for hardware manufacturers, but not like Ross.
Right.
Because I'd say more than half of our product portfolio is either software solutions or services. And the other side of it is our industry takes longer to change than than a lot of people seem to think.
Right.
There's what I like to say is the long tail of the broadcast industry. I saw some stat that said something like half the customers aren't even HD yet.
Right,
If
okay.
you look at the entire planet. And then there's obviously HD, 3G, and then people doing 4K, people implementing HDR, people doing IP, and then when you go from IP, the next stage is virtualization and cloud. So the technology range of what we're doing in an industry is very, very broad, and many customers are at different points along the way.
Yeah.
And well, we actually have a VP of cloud
Okay.
at Ross Video.
Right.
So our newsroom system is a great example of that, which is entirely deployable in the cloud on AWS. So and we're showing virtualization demonstrations of our expression graphics in the cloud as well. And so I think it's just an opportunity and a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of technology, I know you've talked about IP not always being the right choice to everyone. Do you believe that the pace of adoption for IP is slowing down or quickening?
That's an interesting thing, especially relative to SDI. One of the things that's interesting is that I think that the pace of IP adoption is speeding up, without a doubt, and the pace of 12 gig SDI is speeding up even faster.
Right.
I think when IP was launched, it was the only path to 4K was basically IP, because you're stuck with quad link SDI. And since that time, 12 gig SDI has come out. It's all backward compatible, and forward compatible from that point of view. And it used to be just Ross, and then Blackmagic were supporting it. And now you see companies like Grass Valley and Sony and Evertz and all the major players miraculously showing up with 12 gig SDI in all their new products at the same time as they're pushing forward in IP. And I think that makes a lot of sense, because there's things for big installations where you're moving video at scale where IP makes a lot of sense. And then there's other times when you've got a small facility, or you've got a fly pack, or you're an SDI facility and you're not doing greenfield and you just want to add more control rooms and more functionality, but maybe you want to go 4K. In that case, SDI is the way to go. And fortunately, Ross is at the forefront of both of those technologies.
Okay, which leads us on to nicely to, you're one of the few privately owned companies left in broadcast. Is it only a matter of time before someone makes you an offer you can't refuse?
I have had so many people making offers that I can refuse.
Yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of the broadcast, the companies that are privately held and often have the founder's name as the company name, I think they call that eponymous. Those companies are doing spectacularly well in our industry.
Yeah.
It's something that's worth taking a look at, because I think that those are companies that are either not public, or they're not driven by private equity,
Right.
and they're instead driven by passion.
Yeah.
And when you have a lot of passion for what you do in the company, the employees feel it, the designers feel it, the customers feel it, and you realize that you're generally not doing this for the money. You're doing this for the fun of it all.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, there is no offer that I can't refuse.
Excellent. Well, David, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
You can find out more about all of these products and services at rossvideo.com.